about this love. About this. About this love.
How you guys doing today? You're with the host of the podcast About This Love, Dale Skinner, coming all the way from Baltimore. Hope you guys had a good last week. Hope you guys enjoyed the sound bite from last week. I know it went a little long. I said 10 minutes, and when I was editing, I realized it was like 16 minutes. I apologize for that. But again, coming back to you with number 2, and it's titled "Sacrificing Today So You Can Live Tomorrow." And basically, I titled that because throughout my life, it's just been circumstances and things, mainly financially, as regards to money. Being young and just blowing a lot of money. When you're young, you don't necessarily have the financial guidance, or you wasn't brought up in a household where people kind of were taught to. I don't want to use the word frugal, but kind of frugal, with money, but not like too frugal. Some people are just too frugal, But one of the things that I realize is that oftentimes in certain communities, especially African Americans, I'll even say even some whites, that culturally we're not really taught to just handle our money too well. So the moment we get money, the moment it comes out of our hand, So I got 3 questions that I had to ask for today for going over the topic, and the first one is, how do I want to live? How do I want to live? The second question is, what do I want to achieve? How can I achieve what it is I want? And what am I willing to sacrifice today? And like the last podcast, I think it goes more along with the last podcast, kind of tie as it relates to money, because one of the things that I have learned, a very, very hard lesson in my life, being young and getting a job with the railroad at a young age and making at that time what I thought was good money. I was 19, 20 years old, making $15 an hour. My rent was only about $650 a month, and I had a roommate. So really, it was only about $325. So, and I realized back then that I blew a lot of money. I blew a lot of money. Oftentimes, when I looked back over some of my old bank statements, when I was moving, I realized, like, man, I blew a lot of money, and I think a lot of it was just more so, myself coming from a household where my mother didn't really make that much money. So she never really taught us how to handle money. And money was always tight. She did the best that she could. And I don't fault her for that. But as I got older, one of the things that I realized is that oftentimes when it was coming to wanting to go places with a vacation or achieve certain goals, I didn't have the money to necessarily do that. And then as I would look back over my bank statements, I realized, well, I actually did have the money to do it. I had the money to do it. But again, I was mishandling the money that I had. So let's go with the first question. How do I want to live? I asked that question because for a lot of us, it's a pretty good question. How do you want to live? How do you want to live financially? Do you want to be broke? Do you want to live frugal? Do you want to live from check to check? How do you want to live? And I think throughout my life, I've been in all 3 of those. I've been broke. I've lived check to check. I've lived very frugal. And oftentimes when people hear the word frugal, they kind of frown, like, But I think that one of the things that I feel like I've learned at my age and from my mistakes when I was younger is that there's nothing wrong with being frugal. Being frugal it actually takes great discipline. Now I'm not saying being frugal to the point where it's like my wife was telling me she was watching a video on YouTube, and the woman was so frugal that she would like count like 5 minutes in the shower, for her family. And if they went over the 5 minutes, she would cut the water off. I'm not talking about being that frugal. Or she was like the lady would cook like lasagna in the dishwasher just to save money on the electric bill. I'm like, nah, that's too frugal. And I even know people that would when they leave the house, they would unplug the TV or whatever appliances they had in the house besides the refrigerator. No, I'm not talking about living that frugal. Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not talking about that. So how do I want to live? Well, the way I want to live and the way I desire to live is I desire to have what I need when I need it. And in order to do that, I've had to make sacrifices in my life, you know, sacrificing today so you can live for tomorrow. You know, what do I want to achieve? That was the second question under the topic. What do you want to achieve? Do you want to go to school? Do you want to buy a car? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to go on vacation? Do you want to just save up, you know, for an investment? What do you want to achieve? You know, and throughout my life, I've probably say, again, I've experienced all of those. You know, I've had to save up for a vacation. I've had to save up for a car. I'm currently, you know, saving up, you know, for a house for my family. But again, it takes sacrifices. And for me, like, living below my means is always been big in my eyes. You know, living below my means. You know, how can I achieve what it is I want? You know, how can you achieve what it is you want? Financially, how can you achieve what it is you want? How can you achieve that car that you may want? How can you achieve that house that you may want? How can you achieve paying for the vacation? And again, like I said on my last podcast, I understand that to some people, these questions are actually irrelevant. You know, you probably make 6 figures a year, you know, so you could really care less about saving up or, you know, how you want to live or what you want to achieve. Like, I've already achieved what I want to achieve. I'm living how I want to live, you know, and if that's you, hey, I commend you, you know, I commend you because it means you were very disciplined, you know. But for myself, one of the things that I've had to do, me and my wife, you know, when we got married, and I always tell people this who are getting married. One of my friends is actually about to get married in August, and I was having a conversation with him, and I was like, you know, with me and my wife, when we got married, we actually sat down and we had a conversation about finances. I said, because if you're marrying somebody who's a shopaholic, but you're frugal with money, it's going to be a problem, you know? So I said, you know, you and your soon-to-be, you know, spouse need to sit down and have these talks, you know? And he assured me that, you know, that they had and that they will continue to have them. But one of the things I always tell guys is that's, you know, looking to get married, I'm like, you know, I always share with them from under my own life. I said, you know, me and my wife, when we got married, we sat down, we had a conversation. I said, and it went something like this right here. I said, now you're welcome to apply it in your life. If you don't want to, you don't have to, you know? This is what I did. And this is what has helped me. And this is what I gathered from a lot of the people that I look to in my life as mentors, you know, and a lot of them I still talk to. I still, you know, go out to eat with them. I still hang with them, you know, and they're still applying it in their life. But one of the things me and my wife did was we sat down when we got married, before we got married, and even after we got married, we sat down and we said, you know, this is what we make each year collectively. This is what we want to do, which is we want to be able to pay all of our household bills on one person's income. And we want to be able to save the other person's income. Now, for us, what that meant was us actually living below our means, you know. One of the things, and I'm gonna use it as an example because I'm not gonna, you know, say specifically how much I make because it's no one's business besides, you know, me and my wife. But one of the things me and my wife said was that, you know, give you an example, you know, just throwing numbers out there. She said, you know, if we make $65,000 a year, let's live like we only make $45,000 a year. You know, and we still do that and to this day. But you know, I mean, I like to say, you know, I make way more than that. You know, but again, you know, and each time we've gotten a raise and we've come back, hey, you know, let's sit down, have a conversation again, and from time to time, you know, we have every few months. You know, how much we've been saving. You know, what has the money been going to? You know, how can we budget more? You know, one of the biggest things with my wife is budgeting, and I think one of the things I like about my wife is that, excuse me, like myself, she's very frugal with money, not in a bad tight way. You know, like if I know somebody that, you know, there's a need, you know, whether it's a light bill, water bill, phone bill, car insurance, I'll give you the money. I don't really care. You know, I said keep it. Don't even worry about it. You know, I don't want it back because I don't want. If you can't pay me back, I don't want it to be to you know, draw a grudge between us. And I always tell people, if I don't have it, I just won't give it to you. You know, if I give it to you, If you say you're gonna pay me back, I look forward to it. But if you don't, whatever, it's yours, you know. But one of the things that happened to me a couple of years ago, me and my wife, I broke my hand and I had to come off my job for a few months. And my wife, she actually before that, she actually began to get she actually began to get a little ill, and she came off her job. So we were already we used to having a 2-income house. Now we're at 1-income house, and now I'm on disability, and we're not. I think we were getting like I'll say $1,200 to $1,500 less than what we were used to getting when I was working a month. But it worked. It worked. And I always tell guys the story because I'm like, if you have a plan, and if you're able to do that, again, everybody is not able to do that. I understand that. If you're not able to do that, then I totally understand. At one point in our lives when we first got married, we were not able to do that. But we had to kind of sit down at the round table and discuss these things. So when I got hurt, and my wife had just had an operation, so not only was she not working before I got hurt, but now I wasn't working because I was hurt. But it wasn't really a problem. It wasn't really a problem. We wasn't really stressing. We actually really enjoyed our time together. While we were out, and we actually learned a lot about each other. While I was out. But again, that's just my example of how can I achieve what I want to achieve. And my last question is, what am I willing to sacrifice today? What am I willing to sacrifice today so I can live like I want to live? I listened to I don't know if he's a financialist, Dave Ramsey, but I know he's a Christian. I know a lot of people consider him a financial guru. I know he talks a lot about finances. I don't know whether or not I don't know his background in there specifically, but I do listen to a lot of his podcasts on YouTube. And one of the things that he always says, his famous quote is, "Live like nobody today, so you can live like nobody tomorrow." And basically, what he does is he tells people how to get out of debt. He tells people how to cut back, and some of the things that he said in his podcast, I've actually told people that, like friends that I have or coworkers that I've actually told them. Like one incident, I told on 2 different occasions, I actually told 2 different coworkers that they were one of them had a truck that he was paying almost what you would probably be paying for rent or a mortgage. And so I told him, I said, he was like, "Oh man, that truck is really killing me, man. I don't know. I would do that overtime." I said, "Man, if I was you, what I would do is I would take that truck back to the dealership and tell them, hey, I can't afford it no more. I came on hard times." I said, you may take a hit in your credit, but so what? Who cares? And he did it. He did it. He ended up getting something, buying something used for way, 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 way much cheaper. And and now he's doing good. Another coworker, he actually had bought a new car, and he realized that he actually didn't need the car and didn't want it. And the payments wasn't really a problem for him, but he wanted to save to achieve certain goals. And he was like, "Man, I really can't do what I want to do with having this car." I said, "Man, take it back to the dealership, man. Tell him you can't afford it. Take it back." So he did it. And again, those are just examples of just how can I sacrifice today so I can live tomorrow. And one of the things that I'm big on, and I tell guys to this day, excuse me, I tell guys to this day, got young guys in their 20s, because I was like, "Look, man, you got a nice car, you got a nice whip. Hey, look, brother, I see you doing your thing. I was you. I was you when I was 21, 22, 23 years old. I was that guy. I had the subs in the car. I had a sound system every 6-7 months. I was getting new subs in my car. Got tired of the old ones, getting new stereo in my car. I mean, I was that guy. Everything I wanted, I bought it. I was young, making good money. I had a roommate. I mean, what? I was paying $325 a month for rent. That was nothing for me to buy what I wanted to buy. And I blew through a lot of money doing that. So I tell these guys, I'm like, "Look, man, if I was you," because a lot of guys, they'll have a nice car for a while and go get a new one. I'm like, "Look, man, what you have is a nice whip." And I'll ask them, "How long you got to pay for that?" 2-3 years. Look, man, if I was you, if I was you, you can take this if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's your life. It's your money. Do whatever it is you want to do. I said, but if I was you, I would pay it off, and I wouldn't get nothing else. And I said, now if you want to get another car just to have for work, get you a little beater or something that you can pay about $100 for, a month in a note. Something that that's gonna run, but it's not gonna break the bank. And again, guys have taken my advice, because most of the people that I've surrounded myself with over the years, and a lot of my mentors are people who I would say they live very modest lifestyles. I know for a fact that they can afford to live better than what they're living. I'm not saying that the way there's a problem they live, because it's not. They have nice homes, beautiful homes, but most of them got, I'll say, 7-10-year-old cars. And I know for a fact they can afford a new car. I can afford a new car. But why? Why? What's the point? I'm not trying to impress anybody, So that was one of the things that I wanted to share today, again, for just for encouragement, sacrificing today so you can live tomorrow. And I know for a lot of us, we like to floss. We're like, well, man, I make the money. I want to floss. I want to floss on them. And look, man, again, this is just my opinion. This is my suggestion. If you want to floss, if you want to live the way you want to live, hey, by all means, do that. I don't have, if it's okay with you, it's okay with me. But I know for me, I found in my life that when I want to go on a vacation, I can go. I have the money to go. I have the money to go. And I always tell these young guys, and I'm not an old man. I'm 30 years old. I turned 30 years old this year. But since I've been married, when you're married and you have a wife and a son, children or a child, you really have to be able to manage your finances for your household. So I can't go out and just buy whatever I want to buy. I mean, I can if I want to, but I'm accountable to my wife and my finances. So like me, I'm a gamer. I like the game. So most of the time, if a new game comes out, I'll wait 4 to 6 months before I buy it, and then I buy it on eBay used. I just recently bought a game called The Division 2. I waited months to buy it. I bought it on eBay. I paid cheaper than when I would have bought it brand new. Do I have the money to buy it brand new? Of course, but I just choose to not to do it and just wait. And when it drops, I'll get it and I'll play it. So it's just encouragement I want to give to you guys. Again, about this love, we want to continue to bring you encouraging sound bites. So I hope this does someone good. I pray you listen to it. I pray you can use it. It would be beneficial to you, in your life and for those who you share it with. And if you please comment, share, follow us. Most of these go on Audio Mac, which is a audio site. Please follow us. Share our things. Follow us on Facebook, About This Love 211, Twitter, MDLC. And our business Facebook is Multidimensional Media Domain LLC. Again, my name is Dale Skinner. I'm out. Peace.
About this love. About this love.